This video is entitled Media Types and the @Media Selector and is a companion to Chapter 11 of the book So You Want to Learn to Use HTML and CSS. I'm Jim Renaud from Shawnee State University, and I'll be taking you through this presentation. In this video, I'm going to cover the basic media types that are currently available within CSS, all print, screen, and speech. And I'm going to show how to use the @media rule in CSS to create a print version and a screen version of the web page. We'll see how to apply these basic media types, but let's define them first. In the prior version of CSS, there were several more basic media types, but these are the four that are currently in the standard. The screen media type says apply this CSS to any screen, whether it be a screen on a Braille terminal or a desktop computer or a smartphone or a tablet. Okay, so apply this media when you're displaying it on the screen. The printer media says when you're printing it, apply this style. How many times have you been to a website and it looks great on the screen and you try to print it and it looks like crap and it's unreadable and it doesn't lay out well and it's just horrible? Well, that's because the developer of the web page didn't do their job, didn't finish the job, and didn't do what was needed. But I'm going to show you how to fix that. There's also a media type called speech, which allows a browser or an oral spoken reader to read the web page. So you would want the style to be different and certain things not to be seen and other things to do other ways. So you may want to make it for a spoken browser. And then the style, the media rule all applies to all. Kind of makes sense. So the basic media types are screen, printer, and speech. Most of what I'm going to show, though, is screen and printer because those are the most two common. Now, in our CSS, to use these devices, we have to use a new selector called the @media. And you say @media, and then there's a device or a set of device rules that you can place after the @media. And you use a set of curly brackets just like you do in other CSS. Now what happens though is that selectors in CSS go inside the @media. So you would create an @media screen and put all the CSS you want to use when it's displayed to a screen. You'd create another @media printer and you would put your printer specific style in there. You'd create an @media speech and put your oral spoken browser CSS there. So you can see that that allows one CSS file now to work for screens, printers, and spoken word. So I don't have a full HTML example here for you, but here is a sample style sheet that includes two @media rules. It has an @media screen, and you can see that in the @media screen, there's header. So the header is displayed as a grid with two columns. Okay, but come down and you can see I've got a comment there where there was more, and I deleted it so that I could make this big enough for you to see. But then you see there's the @media print, and the header, instead of being a grid, I said, well, for printing, let's just leave the header the way it is, and let's put a border on the bottom of it so there's a line across the bottom of the header. And then notice that I say header nav, display none. So the nav box, the menu that was in the nav of the other page, of the home page, of the screen version, doesn't bother to show, so it won't even bother to print it. It just prints a nice header with a black line. It then prints the body, and then without any grids or without any floats or without anything, it's a printer page. And then the footer, I've said put a border at the top with a margin at the top so that it's got a nice black bar and then the copyright message. So the print version of this page will be very crisp with a header and a line in the body and then a line in the footer. Very crisp, very simple. It won't have the menu. It won't have some of the other, we could go through and select not to do other things. But you can see how it would make a page that looks great on the screen that wouldn't print very well might print very well now that we've gone and created an at media rule for screen with all the screen stuff, and then an at media print for the printer stuff. This concludes video 11A. This presentation is copyright 2020 by James Imrano, PhD. You can contact me at jim@renejm.com. This work is licensed under Creative Commons Attribution, non-commercial share alike 4.0 international license, and I'd like to say thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in another video soon.